Ooh, DJ Red.
Y'all, welcome back to another episode of Controversial. I appreciate y'all for tapping back in. We got a special guest here today, man. Trainer, NBA player, developer, and right now the one of the coaches for UT Tyler, man, Akeem Williams. So we welcome him. We welcome him in. Go ahead and introduce yourself. I'll let you get an intro yourself as well, man.
Akeem Williams, 26 years old, and on a coaching and training journey, man.
I feel it, man. Definitely. I've been keeping up with you like we just talked about a little bit before we started. I just want to get into, we can get right into it. Just let us know kind of, your upbringing, kind of, the origin of where you come from, and also your journey as far as, coming through the training and developing players.
Well, the upbringing part, man, I was a military brat, so I was everywhere. Born in Anchorage, Alaska, and kind of settled down around middle school, high school in Houston. So Houston is kind of, my roots and where people believe I'm from. So, I learned a lot and met a lot of people who got me where I'm at today, actually, during that time. From Houston, went to Hightower. After leaving Hightower, took my talents down to Montana, up to Montana. For 3 years of basketball there, and then 1 year in North Dakota, the coldest place in the world, at Dickinson State. So, that was my playing career. And when it ended, I had pro aspirations and things like that. But actually, that's when the player development stuff started. During that summer after graduation, had a chance to either go overseas and play or take a job with the Phoenix Suns, which was offered to me in kind of the weirdest random way, but yeah, that's how all that started.
So how did that come about with the Suns? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, no, definitely. So my senior year, I went to Dickinson State, it's NAI in North Dakota, and I wasn't really, feeling it. Just came off a broken foot, the reason I transferred, and we had a tournament in Utah preseason, and one of my dad's clients, previously, my dad was an NBA agent at one point. He was working with the Utah Jazz. So I hit him up and was like, hey, you want to just come check out a game? So he comes to the game, checks it out. Decent game, nothing crazy. He left at halftime. End of the year, like I said, I'm in Dallas training, ready to go overseas. Got a deal over in Qatar that I was working on. And out of nowhere, he texts me and was like, yo, you want to work with the Phoenix Suns? And I'm like, yeah, why not? I knew I wanted to be a coach one day, and after a year with a broken foot and an okay senior season, I was just like, why not? So with that, I didn't even know how I was going to get that job. He just asked me that question. Last thing I knew, he was working with the Utah Jazz. So apparently him and the assistant head coach for the Jazz got the Phoenix job. And literally within a week, I was in Phoenix. After that interview day, which was just a day in the life of what my role would be.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent me back home. Didn't say much. I met the whole staff, met all the players, everything. Next day, they called me back like, hey, pack your bags. We got your ticket for you. 2 days, I was working with the Phoenix Suns.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Especially how that came about. It seems like he kind of already knew the Phoenix move was coming, and he was, basically already had you on standby as soon as he got there. So that's cool, man. How were the players when you met them, and how was the staff, in Phoenix? I hear they got one of the I hear Phoenix staff, as far as like doctors and players, injuries and rehab, they got one of the best staffs in the league.
No, definitely. And the year that I came in, we actually had a whole new staff as far as coaching goes, and we had some legends there, man. Some names might go over some heads, but we had Corliss Williamson, who played at Arkansas, and he won the national championship in '94, played in the league a bunch of years, man. He was one of the GOATs, and he was definitely a great big man coach. We had an overseas legend who played with Maccabi Tel Aviv, and my guy Dev Smith, and he was the coolest cat out there. We had Cody Topper, who is the head assistant at Memphis right now, but he's done so much throughout the league and things like that. Joe Prunty, another name, that might go over some heads, but he was actually the guy who stepped in as an interim head coach for the Milwaukee Bucks and took them on that deep playoff run. I think back in like 15, 16, maybe. It was early before it really Greek freak. It was just
like that.
You know. So we had some other guys on staff as well. But as far as the players, man, it was funny because like growing up, I played against some of these guys. I've known some of these guys. So it was like it was a little nuts, but they show respect from day one because they kind of could tell like I was confident in what I did and confident in, you know, myself, even though I knew, dude, I came in not knowing what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I had that one day in the life, but you know, shit, that's an interview. Everything's perfect on interview day.
For sure.
So I'm coming in and, you know, taking directions and just trying to figure out everything within the first week. But everything I knew I had to do was with confidence because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna kid myself. Yes, I could teach the game, but I haven't been able to do it because I was playing the entire time.
Of course.
And to teach it to guys my age, a little bit younger, making millions, and with a better skill set than I've ever had, to be honest, like you know, it was a little tough, but that confidence definitely was instilled in me at a young age as far as things like that. So I just knew the game, and I knew whatever I said, I could really believe that and make them believe that because it was what I knew from the game of basketball.
Of course, man. Yeah, and that's big, especially also like your military background. You know, moving around a lot, being able to just move on the fly, adapt to a new space. You know, a lot of people can't do that, man. They get into a new space around all those people, millionaires and things like that. Like their character change, and even they might be good at a job, but not necessarily be able to do it just because of everything around it and outside of it. So, you know, that's dope, man. How long were you out there in Phoenix?
A year and a half. So summer league, a season, a summer league game.
Okay. Were you on the road with them and everything?
Yeah.
How was that? How was like an NBA season being on the road?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. You gotta, like, a lot of people don't take into that travel, man. We'll play a game one night, get on the plane, get there at 2 a.m., shoot around at 11, 10, 1, whatever, and then we play again that next night. Like, that is one thing people have to consider when they think about an NBA season. Yeah, they know they flop, but like the way that it happens, it's like back to back to back, and it's so quick. Like the recovery that it takes, the skill that it takes to just sit there and just, you know, go through all that and still mentally be prepared, like for the next game. It's definitely strenuous, man.
Yeah, man. So I want to get into kind of the player development side. Like, so do you still work with any other players that you with the Suns or in the league right now, or kind of what are you doing on that side as well?
So after leaving the Suns, took some other jobs and things, and then COVID hit. And pretty much as far as working with those guys, no, but we still stay in contact and things like that. If I was in Phoenix, maybe things would be different. But, you know, once COVID hit, it was like, man, I actually was in Coastal Carolina when it happened. We were going to the tournament, and we got that call. There's no tournament this year.
Yeah.
So actually, my dad had cancer at the time. I had just found out maybe 2 days after the tournament ended. So I packed my bags up knowing we couldn't do anything else on the court, and I went back to Houston. And I've always been like my guys' trainers, like my homies, like that's all it ever was.
Yeah.
But my guy Leon Gilmore, who's been one of my best friends, he played in the G League with the Bucks team. He was just like, man, come on, I need to work out, I need to do stuff. And this is quarantine, like when it first started, like lockdown time. Mm-hmm. So we're in his driveway and we're going hard. Like, first of all, he got the tilted little driveway, so it's like this. The goal probably a like 9-8, but it is what it is. Like we out there getting ball handling, passing, all type of stuff. He's shooting, finishing, and it's one of them with the pole that come down and then the bottom part that stick forward. So when he finished, he got to land and get out the way, or he's gonna run into the pole. But we're out there grinding. And he's posting and stuff like that. And, you know, people are like hitting me up like, yo, like when we get in the lab, like I need to work with you. So I'm like, all right. Like to me, it's still nothing. This is my best friend. It's my brother. Like it's nothing. So we finally actually get a lab early in the quarantine, and it's just me and him working out. Then he goes back, he's posting again. People hit my DMs like, yo, like, let me get in the lab, let me get in the lab. Other people that I'm cool with that I know will come in and, you know, it'll be low key, we'll still be getting work in. I was like, yeah, y'all come through. It's maybe 3 or 4 people now. So I'm training, then I'm breaking it up, doing individual sessions too. So I'm just like, okay, what I do, this is all for free. Like, these are my guys. And then out of nowhere, you know, they'll post here and there in the lab, you know, got some work in with Akeem today. Like, I'm not thinking nothing of it. These are my guys. This is what I do. I'm a coach. I'm a trainer. Yeah, man. But about 2 weeks into that, it turned into 50 people. Then I'm like, hold up, like, I don't know if I could do all that. So I'm letting a few people creep in. I'm like, I got time, ain't nothing else to do. Like, I'm on lockdown. So I'm like, okay. Then it turned into I got 10. I could get a legit run. So do my first run, and I'm recording while everybody's getting their runs in. I'm recording workouts and stuff too at the same time. It's just, you know, to have on file. Nothing thinking about my own player development company, nothing like this at the time. But I knew eventually I'd get there. But I'm thinking my next job, I'm still filling out applications and stuff and calling people. But because we didn't know how long quarantine would be either. So that was a big part of that. But yeah, I had my first run. I'm recording it. I cut it up, post it. Man, I'm talking about everybody and their mama like, yo, I need to get in the gym. I need to, like, what you charging? Like, I haven't even thought of a price yet. Like, I'm just like, dude, I'm just working these dudes out because they my guys. And then, you know, started getting a couple people in for a couple bucks, nothing crazy. And then all the blue checks started hitting me up as quarantine was looking like it was going to be a lot longer. All my guys was like, yo, like, I seen you was with the Suns. I see you working out guys in Houston. Let me get in the lab. So I'm setting up times now. I'm like putting everybody in group messages like, yo, you come at this time, you come at this time. Bam. And then it's starting to run, but I'm like getting 8-9 sessions a day.
Damn.
Be hurting. And I'm trying to, you know, be considerate to them. So I'm doing individual workouts so I could do, which is what I excel at, I believe. And, you know, just be more tailored towards that one person.
That's what I was going to ask you too. My bad to cut you off, but I was going to ask, was it group workouts or was it like, okay, this time for you, this time for you? But yeah, that's definitely cool. And they appreciate that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it was like, dude, like at one point I stopped for 3 days. I was like, yo, I can't do nothing. My feet hurting. Like I'm in here every day, all day. I don't have a business plan. I'm just doing it. So I was like, yo, give me like 3 days to like cool off, like just trying to revamp everything. So at that point, I took my time, came up with a business plan, and hit the ground running from there. I'm talking about I got this group with my younger guys. I got these few for individuals today, these few individuals this day, that day. And then from there, it just kind of blossomed and turned into what everybody sees as power vision.
That's lit, man. You know, especially being in the lab 8 or 9 sessions a day, just grinding with those guys, you know. And what else I want to talk about, you just brought up is, you know, you doing a video record on the sideline. So kind of talk about how you got into when you were a video coordinator and things like that. I think we kind of glanced over that part a little bit.
So as far as doing my own workouts and stuff, I've always been like a creative. Like that's kind of been my first.
Hold on, I can't hear you. You good?
Is it working now?
You all good.
All right. So yeah, some guys, you know, they drawing Air Force Ones back in the day. I literally have about 10 signature shoes that I used to just draw and create and, you know, and things like that. And then I turned into actual art, you know, just creating stuff. Got into college, played on the computer a lot, did a lot of Photoshop, stuff like that. Actually took a couple of photography classes in college, but that was just for fun and, you know, filler. But honestly, I realized like marketing is a big thing, and it took me a while with the Power Vision stuff to kind of even want to put stuff out there, because for the most part, especially like my NBA guys, like I was like, I don't really feel like I'm the reason that they are how they are, so I don't even want to take credit for saying I trained them. Yeah, they got in the lab with me. Yeah, they worked out with me, but I'm not their trainer. Like, if it wasn't quarantine, they'd be with this guy, that guy, that guy. So at first it was kind of, you know, too humble to a sense, because marketing is everything, especially in this field of training, because you look at the Brickleys and those guys, they'll at least post it. They won't take credit for the guy, but you know, they'll post it and things like that. So I started, you know, learning that part of it and start filming more workouts and things like that for posting purposes. Typically, I just have my iPad at the other end so you can see the whole floor. You see, you know, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But then I was like, let me get up close and personal a little bit more. Then stuff that I don't have to be in a drill, let me actually record it, get their little movements on it, so it could look somewhat like a commercial. And then eventually I got to the point I started using my own camera. And that's when, you know, guys start reposting stuff, and I saw that actually drew more, you know, people to hit me up and wanting to get in the workouts. So after a while, guys like, yo, why you not in front of the camera? Why you not? I'm like, dude, I don't do that. Like, I've never been a take my photo type dude. I ain't even want to be in front of the camera.
Honestly, I'm the same way. I'm surprised I ended up here.
But yeah, so I was just like, I don't know. And then one of my guys, Delvin Dickerson, he actually was the first to put me on with a cameraman, and he came through the workout. And honestly, my guy Q, well, he's my guy now, but it was his guy Q came through, and the pictures and the video that he came up with was like poetry, man. And I was like, yeah, it's no way I'm not out here marketing myself as a trainer and marketing my guys, because the stuff he did with the video, he broke it up. Okay, you get your video. You're the trainer. You get a video. You're another player. You get your video. So I'm like, dude, this is an hour workout. We got 4 different posts, which all circle back to my training at the end of the day. So I'm just like, yeah, like, okay. So he started coming around a little bit more. Then I started branching off to some other creatives too, because guys were like, yo, I want to come film. I want to come be in the workouts. I want to be around these pro guys. And from there, I mean, it just kind of took off. And I got a lot of stuff in the vault I'll probably never post.
But, yeah, you're going to keep it in the vault forever? We can't never get it?
Man, I mean, because my thing is, so a lot of my NBA guys have those videos and things like that. And some of them have posted it, but I'll never post it. So it's up to those guys to put that out there. But I got a couple of things in there. It's like, yo, like, if I posted this right now, I'll probably break the internet.
But hey, man, that just show your character. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people just go ahead and post that and try to get up fast. But you know, the slow grind never hurt nobody. You know, you're doing your thing, man. So, you know, that's definitely cool. You know, you just make more connections. You started the connections just off the post, not even just from basketball to the creative side, to the film side, and people just tapping in with you. So, you know, that's beautiful to see, man, because, you know, you probably met so many people that you might not have, you know, just doing what you do, what you love. So that's dope, man. What's the hardest part about being a trainer, you would say?
Man, the toughest part for me was definitely getting into the business aspect of it. So, like I said, a lot of the guys, even the NBA guys, were my homies, like were my friends, people I played with, people I grew up with. So it was hard to, you know, kind of come at them with like, hey, this is my business now. Like, oh, man, I need my funds for this. Like,
100%.
But for the most part, honestly, like, you know, guys were understanding. They were like, yeah, dude, like, I would have been paying you if you would have said something. Because, I mean, a lot of guys were breaking me off here and there. And, you know, at one point, that was enough for me because I was just like, yeah. But then it turned into like 20 people a day. And I'm like, okay, well, 12 hours out of my day, I got to be coming home with something. Like,
price go up.
Like, yeah, like, like I'm wanted at this point. Like, hey, I gotta I gotta do something. And, you know, guys were pretty receptive to that. And it actually kind of weeded out some of the people who I've, you know, didn't feel like really invested in themselves anyway. Like some guys came in there just off the strength of, oh, we friends, so I'm gonna come in, have bad days. I'm gonna BS some days. I'm not, like, a bad day for me is not you miss every shot and I'm running around the gym rebounding for you. A bad day is you coming in on BS, you half-assing it when I got 50 kids I had to tell no, because it's like, yo, I gotta reserve this time for him. I gotta do this for you. Like, and you wasted 50 kids' potential. Well, I could have just had a camp for 2 hours and been like, yo, let me get y'all better today.
100%.
So that's a bad day for me. So that was the biggest thing. Just weeding out those guys with getting paid, and everybody else who was invested in themselves, they were willing to pay that times 10, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's dope, bro. Yeah, it's like, you know, like you said, weeding it out. You know, the people that I'm sure the closest people to you and the people you consider real friends were the ones that were right there, not having no issue with, you know, doing what, you know, helping you do what you love, basically. So, you know, that's dope, bro. How much of training you think is like refining a player's skill set, and then how much of it do you think is like a mental approach to the game?
I think both are very important, but there's also one more important thing. Building a relationship with that player, man. That's the biggest thing. They have to trust you. If they don't trust what you're telling them, if they don't trust you as a person, nothing you guys ever do will ever really translate. So, I mean, in saying that, like, to be honest, if they trust you and, you know, they really believe that you're doing what it takes to get them better, they'll dribble 17 balls if you tell them to. Like, that's just the type of relationship you have to build with guys if you truly want to make them better players. And then on top of that, you know, the mental aspect for some guys is harder than others, and the actual learning how to work is another thing that a lot of guys don't know how to do. I actually had a guy who won the summer league championship with the Kings, who just didn't know how to work out. Like, this is second year in the league, and his first year pre-draft workouts, he was in the gym by himself working out, fresh out of college, got picked up, played in summer league, played in the G League, played in the league for a little bit, and this summer he was represented by somebody I knew, and I got a chance to work him out and things like that for a good, I think, 2 weeks or so. And he was like, man, like, this stuff that we're doing, I never thought about doing it because I had to come up with my own workouts. I'm in the gym just shooting shots. Like, maybe somebody in there rebounding for me, but, like, I didn't have any guidance. So, you know, being able to make that change for people and just teaching people how to work correctly for themselves is big too.
Yeah, and that leads into, like, you know, that leads into what I was going to say next. So, like, with that being said, and I even think when I was playing, and like a lot of players, like, I wasn't knowing how to work out either, you know, the correct way. Like, so, like, what are some bad habits that you think players get not only from that, but just have in general, like players and trainers?
A lot of it, especially on the training side, more than the players. So I'll start with the training side.
Okay.
I feel like trainers get into a lot of everything and not understanding what's actually going on the floor. Like, you can't tell a guy, yo, do these 3 moves, but you're not explaining what's actually going on as far as help defense, as far as the next guy who's coming over, things like that. And, you know, making sure that player has the imagination to even see that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't think cones are the worst thing in the world. I don't like using cones, but if my guy don't have an imagination, that cone has to be there. Like, you got to help the guy out. And as far as, you know, things that players do, I would just say, you know, going in there and just working until you're tired. When you're tired at that moment, that's when you begin to get better after that. And it's hard. It's really hard to push yourself, especially when you're by yourself. Like, it's almost, I'm not going to say impossible because it's not, but, like, once you get tired, you think you hit that wall. You think you're, like, done. And that's what creates, you know, that's what separates, I would say, you know, those players who are good and those players who are great. those players who could tap in and find motivation, whether it's some outside or some within themselves, to just say, yo, keep going. And now I got to do everything perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest thing I try to get in my college guys. Like, yo, the game's simple. If you can blow past a guy and make a layup, that's the game. Don't complicate it with don't complicate it with anything else that you've seen or you thought you worked on. Like, dude, it takes a lot. And to me, I would say it takes over 600 shots to get that one shot in the game. So 600 drifts to the corner equals one shot in the game to me. Mm-hmm. That 600 you put in just for that one shot. And we ain't talking about you getting back on D and then getting the next shot.
Yeah.
That one shot in itself.
Yeah, for sure, man. So let's slide over to, I want to ask you how to ask this. So outside of your close friends and the people that you know, like, what do you feel like was the first time that you really impacted a player's life or game?
Ooh. I'll just speak on the professional level as far as being a trainer wise, because I mean, I feel like in this lifetime, I've impacted a lot of people on and off the court with different things. And like I said, my dad was an agent, and my dad still helps a lot of people to this day. So I kind of picked that up from him at an early age. Like, it was always random dudes that he represented or he was trying to help staying at the crib. So, just being given and, wanting to do right by other people has always been my purpose in life. And that's actually why I'm still coaching today, because basketball, I love it, but I feel like my purpose is helping people. So as far as a player that I feel like I changed their lives, he also changed my life, is DeMarcus Gatlin. I met him during that quarantine period when I was getting guys in the gym.
In the Houston area, if y'all don't know.
Oh yeah, definitely. And he was the MVP over in the NBL 1 over in Australia prior to quarantine happening. So we were actually hooping in Cyprus, we was hooping in Cyprus, and he was just like, yo, who you work out with? And this is back when I was still good in shape to go. Like, I was hooping with everybody. So he was like, yo, who you work out with? And I'm like, I don't work out with nobody. I'm a trainer for real. Like, I ain't gave up my hooping days. I'm just out here because this quarantine ain't nothing else to do. He's like, yo, I'm trying to get in the lab with you. And then we hooped that day. So I'm like, I'm going to just check him out, see what he's about. A lot of people talk. Like, yo, I want to get in the lab with you. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'm actually holding him one game. And I'm like picking up the scout report quick. Oh, he's driving hard left. He's a good finisher around the rim. So I'm like, all right, bet. I'm going to just keep cutting off his left, see what he do. All he want to do is elevate, try to be athletic. Bet. So I'm really like, I'm not going to say clamping him, but the scouting report and team defense is so good, he's not getting off like he wants to. He's kind of getting a little frustrated. And in my head, I'm like, this is before I knew anything about him. I'm like, he ain't that good. But I mean, I was like, but I can help him out because he's like, honestly, he's NBA athletic.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like, okay, I just figure out where he's at playing, because this is a pro run, so everybody's been somewhere, on some type of level. So we chop it up after. He never tells me he's an MVP, nothing. He was just like, yeah, I'm over in Australia, man. Like, I just need to work on my jumper and my game a little bit. Man, the first time me and Gat work out, it's like, yo, I've never met anybody who matched my energy. Like, typically I'm laid back off the court. I don't, kind of antisocial, don't talk much, don't do much. But on that court, man, it's a different zone. And I love it. And Gat is definitely, I would say, like a mirror image of what I feel like I am as a trainer and a player. And he comes in ready to learn, and Gat is one of those people. It clicked quick. If I would have told Gat to dribble 17 balls, he was the guy to do it. Because he I'm not gonna lie, he lived and died by my word. And I was like getting film for him. I'm doing this and that for him, like just breaking down the game on the court and off the court for him. Like, yo, I think this. And it's like slowly but surely picking up, because Gap is one of those people who focuses so much on what you tell him to do. He does it to the T. And he actually helped me a lot because with some of my faults and some of the things that probably didn't work, and some things I'm just like, let's just try this today. But I got to come off confident to him, like, hey, we're doing this today, blah, blah, blah. And if it's not, like, if it doesn't look right, if it's not working, it's not because he's not trying. It's because I just didn't look up the right stuff. Like, I didn't have the right stuff for him. Because whatever I say, he will do it.
He will do
I
it.
say, yo, hey. So that helped me a lot. Like, he helped me grow my confidence a lot. And definitely we grew a super bond. And I feel like, you know, during that time, we helped each other out with wanting to be in the gym. It was times like, so with that injury in college, I broke my foot twice. And I never got it fixed. I just transferred school so I could play. Didn't want anybody to know about it, stuff like that. So during those days, I'm doing these 8, 9, 10 sessions a day. Like my foot is like on fire by the end of the day. Like, and there's days I wake up like, yo, I can't even go to the gym, but I go anyway. And working with people like that, like that gets me out of that. Like, yeah, it's just like, man, forget that foot. Like I should have took care of it a long time ago. You here now, you made a promise to these guys, you wanted to make them better. They're here, they're showing up, they're working. And honestly, every time I worked out with Gat, I was in a better mood. Like it's no type of bad vibes in the gym. It's him working. And Gat is one of those people. It was actually the end of our workouts before I took this college job. And we're scrounging for gyms because at this point I'm transitioning to packing and getting ready to leave. Like I told most of the guys I'm done working them out. But for Gat, he knew I'd do anything for him. So he hit me up, let's get in the gym. Man, we shooting on a side goal with it ain't no lines on there, it ain't no nothing. I'm talking about full sweat in the first 5 minutes. It's a gun, like they're shooting on a gun on the main goal. There's people all on all the other 5 goals just shooting around, just bump stuff. And it's like you would never invite, like, let's say an NBA guy to this gym because it's like, yo, we got this much space to work with.
Yeah.
Gat didn't care. And Gat believed that, you know, he was going to get better that day. So he was there, locked in, ready to work. Mm-hmm. And to this day, Gat's like, yo, come back to Houston, bro. What are you doing? Like, he's like, yo, I'll pay you whatever they paying you on salary, bro. I'm just like, nah, man. Like as much as I want to, I can't, man. Like, but that's my brother, and you know, I really appreciate Gat because he got me through some of them days, which were tougher than others. And real life, he helped me grow my brand because I got to go to runs and stuff, and they'd be like, "Yo, who you working with? Who you like?" He send them my way, like,
yeah.
like,
oh man.
But Gat did that himself, man. I mean, in this summer, we really focused on his jump shot because my man's averaged 25 off all layups, dude. Like, he was the MVP with no jump shot. Like, he was on some Giannis stuff overseas, and I was like, man, we can help you with the jump shot. And then by the end of it, Gat is an all-around player, always was. And for him, it was more mental. He's the strongest dude on the court. You can shoot it from half court. It's just really just getting him mentally prepared to shoot that three and just elevate his game a little bit more. And that's why I definitely think he was one of the biggest ones who I say changed my life and his life outside of close friends.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. You know, like y'all energy just bouncing off each other, and you know, you kind of finding yourself on the court through a trainer, through a player that's willing to work hard every day. You know, y'all got each other back the same amount. And, you know, that's beautiful. And not only that, you know, with the way you training him, he going to runs and people asking who he working with. So, you know, you're obviously doing something right, bro. That's dope. So I got this question for you. Have you ever experienced players, you know, who do everything right and I guess training and stuff, but can't translate to the game? And how do you get them to kind of overcome that?
The biggest thing is simplifying things. And I mean, a lot of guys that I've worked with have been more role players, to be honest. Like, a lot of them aren't the Gat of their league or their team. Like, you know, they're role players. So it's definitely getting to understand, like, yo, your role is always going to fluctuate. You're always going to be having to do things that you don't want to do sometimes. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the biggest thing is just perfecting your role. For the most part, not translating. That's honestly, I don't think I've really worked with anybody who I would say nothing that we did didn't translate, nothing that they wanted to do didn't translate, because they were all pretty established, to be honest. Like, it's more fine tuning, adding this or that to their game and things like that. So even the younger guys, like my college guys and high school guys, they were pretty good. Like my fifth grader was, he's top 30 in the country. So yeah, we added Trey Green. He plays with the Houston Blue Chips, and he came to me. He was already good, but I already knew that because his family and their lineage, and we were all close. That's how that happened. But we added a lot to his bag, but what he was doing before was already good enough. Now it's just adding a little bit here and there to take it just that much more over the charts.
Yeah, that's dope. But I mean, even still in hindsight, he's still so young. I mean, that's probably one of the youngest players you have, and you'll still see so much growth from where he is today, to where he gonna get. It's gonna be special, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Sure.
No, that's my guy for sure.
And what is he in middle school right
now? Yeah, sixth grade this year.
Cool. So he still play with the Blue Chips, or he gonna go to the hoops? Or I know a lot.
Well, it's a Houston Hoops Blue Chips. They're like top 10 in the nation. I'm guessing. I don't really know how all that works, but I mean, I know that it's all one the same. But they're top 10 in the nation. They got two players top ranked higher than him on that team.
Oh shit.
But they're killers. Like, typically I'm not a big fan of rankings, but hey, they got
you got
it for a reason.
You got it. You can't.
Definitely.
For sure, man. So obviously you've been around a lot of NBA guys and stuff. Give me the best run you've been in or you've seen, and kind of who was in it.
Ooh, the best run. That's tough. I mean, to be honest, the best runs I've seen with my own eyes have probably been Rico Hines' runs.
LA? He was at LA?
Yeah, but as far as personally, I mean, I can't go against my own runs, man. Like,
for sure.
I didn't had all the Houston hitters in there, the Harrison twins, my guy Mike Holyfield, who actually just signed in Jerusalem. I mean, and a lot of people don't know these names because they're not really big out there, celebrity names. But dude, there's been NBA players that came through there, and it's like, Jalen LeCue and came through. Like, that's my guy. Like, it's tough. Like, I honestly will put my guys up against most NBA players. Like, if you go get 5 NBA players working on the area, I'd put my guys up against them because I've seen those guys compete and I've seen what real basketball is. It's just like a guy like that. He probably won't ever pursue the league because he's a little older. Guys like the twins, they making millions where they at. Like, why would I sacrifice that to go make a couple hundred in the league? Like, it's just different paths for everybody. But at the end of the day, we all know that real hoopers are gonna be hooping. It doesn't matter where they're at. Like,
at all. Yeah, man, I agree with that. And I agree with you. I feel like if I was you, obviously I put my players up against them, but I feel like they play with more dog and more effort, and like they want it more. You know what I'm saying? Like, you come to the run just thinking Houston got a lot of runs that's kind of tough when you go around the city. Like, you come in there thinking just because you're an NBA player you're gonna get right with people, and it's not like that. They
not at all.
They really get with you for sure, man. So if you got two, what's two like your most memorable moments as a trainer so far, or a coach?
Oh, as a coach, all right. The most actually 2 memorable moments, both of them with Jamal Crawford, man.
Oh,
that's my OG.
6 golf.
Hey, that's my OG. So on my birthday, we're going to New York. We're actually playing in the Garden, my first time in the Garden ever. And I've been around the game, been in a lot of arenas. But my first time in the Garden, my 23rd birthday with the Suns, I'm chopping it up with him before the game. Like, yo, I appreciate you, OG. Like, you've done a lot for me, even though, you know, I just rebound for you sometimes. Because with him, it wasn't ever a workout. It's Jamal does what Jamal wants to do. He's not really a workout guy because Jamal's a creative. He is basketball. Basketball flows through that guy. Like, it's different. Yeah. But I'm just telling him how much I appreciate him, things like that. And I'm like, yo, let me get you a jersey. It's my birthday. I'm going to give it to my pops if you can sign it for me after the game. He's like, oh, yeah, I got you. Like, it's nothing. My man goes out there and has the most assists in his career in that game. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yo, like, I ain't gonna do too much. It's whatever. But when he signs the jersey, I'm like, man, like, this special. Yeah, for sure. Last game of the season. This is the second memory. I do, like, we chop it up most games, but these are the ones where I'm like, yo, I really appreciate you. Like, I'm really showing thanks because in real life, like, I look up to those Nick Van Exels, Brandon Jennings, Jamal Crawford,
unsung heroes.
Yeah, the ones who just came out and just love the game, handle the ball. Like, I used to go through the little traffic cones in the street just handling it. I'm talking about wrapping it behind my back with the same hand, stuff like that. So it's like, yo, you definitely paved the way for guys like me and things like that. So I'm just like, yo, appreciate you. Last game of the season, like, nobody knows the future. Like, I didn't know we were all gonna be out at the end of the year, but you know, I was just like, yo, it's the end of the season. I'm not an emotional dude, but it kind of hit me. So I'm like, yeah, I gotta tell him. So I'm just like, yo, appreciate everything, blah, blah, blah. We just chopping it up. We don't even do pregame warm-up before this game. Like, we just sat there and talked on the sideline. Mm-hmm. And he goes out there, drops 51 on Dirk's retirement night. This is Dirk's night. This is Dirk's last game. This is everything for the Dallas Mavericks. This is in Dallas, Texas, too. Man, he goes out there, drops 51. And then we watched Dirk's whole, like, retirement thing. And the whole time, me and him are just, like, laughing and, like, joking about, like, yo, like, you really went out there and did that. And, like, I'm at this point, this is, like, my fourth talk with him about it. I'm like, yeah, man, I guess I got to be out there before every game, give me a talk. Like, man, you be going out there breaking records. Like, and he's like, yeah, man, like, just chopping it up, laughing. But I'm like, man, it was so special to me. Like, I still got that game and all his clips on my flash drive. Like, that's dope. That was one thing I never let go or forget.
Yeah, man, that's dope, bro. Damn, dope. Both of them are dope. Highest assist, and he dropped a 50 ball on Dirk's night in Dallas. It was sold out, huh?
Oh yeah, no. Hey, that was a crazy moment in itself. Like, watching that retirement ceremony, because you know Cuban was gonna go crazy for him and light shows and all that.
Yeah, Cuban gonna do the most, man. He you know, he's one of those owners that bring back his players and, you know, give them position in the organization. So, you know, that's definitely kudos to him on that. Before we get out of here, man, I want to throw a little NBA stuff at you. If you down to get into that real quick. Give me your top five, unless you're gonna upset some people. You give me your top five. You know, top five going. No. Top five current players going into next season.
Ooh, my top five right now. Greek Freak has to be up there.
And there's no order or order?
No order. Greek Freak's up there. Seeing Bron in person, man, he's that guy. And no matter his skill set from here to the end, he lights up a room, man. And I understand why guys really can't play help defense off him, because you're really caught in his aura, man. Like, looking at him, he's not human when he throws that jersey on.
So that's mythical figure?
Man, it's mythical figure for sure. And growing up, I'm Kobe to the end. Like, it's Kobe. What's a LeBron? He's just an athlete. He's just dunking on everybody. Like, his jump shots, bro. Nah, that man is mythical. And I'll never take that away from him after seeing him do his work. D-Book, man. Like, that's personal bias. I don't care what nobody says. He's a difficult, like, bro, he's difficult. And his work ethic matches his game. Like, you can't do anything about it because I work on it so much. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm watching the shots he's taking in the finals, and they're just all tough. Like everything's tough. I mean, you know, he has moves in his arsenal, but he getting off tough shots like every time, and especially in that mid range. You know, and one thing about Devin's game is that it's been mature. Even when he was in Kentucky, I mean, he came off the bench, but he was always getting into mid range. He was always a good shooter that was not settling. You know, even with the NBA moving to the three, you know, a lot, he's still getting that mid range. Shit, just as much as CP damn near. So, you know, I wouldn't personally put him in mind, but I definitely understand that, especially when you watch somebody work closely. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's way different.
And I've been on the
season. He dropped 70 or no?
No, nah.
Was that the year or two before? It might have been like a year or two before.
Yeah. But he actually dropped 50 and 40 back-to-back that year, and he dropped 50 on Utah, who was trying to triple team him at one point that year. So, yeah. And I've defended that at practices and, you know, post-practice one-on-one. The kid's different, man. Like, he doesn't care who you are. He don't care your size. He don't care nothing about no disadvantage. Like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, that's it.
Yeah, he got that mentality for sure, man. Them 40 balls he put up in the finals, man, it's crazy. Like, even after the hamstring injury, you know, he still came back and did his thing, man. So, you know what? Before we get out of here, bro, what players are you excited about seeing next year? College and NBA.
College wise, man, I'm excited about seeing my UT Tyler guys. So that's as far as the college goes. We actually got a really good group, I would say, and you know, I'm excited to see how we all come together and actually win this season. October 13th is our first official practice, so that's our official season start. As far as first game, still working on schedule and stuff, but like I said, this is our first D2 year, so we're officially ready for postseason. It's my first year here, and you know, we all got big expectations, so this is gonna be something special. As far as the league goes, man, I really want to see what my sons do for sure. I'm a Spurs guy. Shout out to Bryn Forbes, actually signing back with the Spurs recently.
I saw that.
And then other players, my guy, Ade Murphy, he plays with the Kings. So I want to see what he does this year. He was the one that won with the Sacramento Kings G League and the Summer League.
Got you for sure, man. We definitely keep an eye out on all them. Before we get out of here, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank you for coming on, bro, and tapping in with me. And, you know, we had a lot of great stories, bro. I can't wait to get this episode out and just let people know your story. You know, you got a great one. And I want to let you give you a chance to go ahead and plug anything you want to plug. Let the people know what they should check out for you in the future and where to find you and your training.
Appreciate that. They can follow me on Instagram, Keem, KEEM.0 or Pwr.vsn _ on Instagram as well. That's my Power Vision training account. As far as things that come in the future, probably be training here pretty soon. Have a lot of content with my Tyler guys and moving towards the summertime, get back with my NBA guys pretty soon here. So also might be dropping merch. Got a lot of merch just on hold. Just like them videos on archive.
Bring it out, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Especially when the players come through, they're gonna be having it for sure, bro. But yeah, man. You go ahead and send me those tags. I'll have them at the bottom for everybody so they can just see it. You know, people not barely listen sometimes, so I just put it.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I appreciate you tapping in, bro. Appreciate everybody. You make sure when you watch this episode, you can watch it on YouTube or audio platforms, Spotify, Breaker, Apple Music, man. And we hit it out.
Appreciate you.